Nava Rose and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is a DIY video, and this is an actual DIY video that you can use and that will be helpful for you guys. It won't be like my other video where I DIY'd an outfit and it was completely useless to you guys. Like you guys will ever need to make a construction worker dress. I'm just saying. So because I see all these trends on social media like Instagram, Tumblr, yes, a girl still uses Tumblr. The thought process that happens in my head when I want something that I see on social media and I want to buy it is, 1, can I DIY it? 2, do I really want to be spending that much money on that thing? So that is why I decided to do this video, because there are a lot of trends that I really want but it's sold out or it's expensive and I don't want to pay the money. I usually try to tell myself that I'm like just being frugal, you know. I'm just really being cheap because I don't want to spend all that money. Oh, also, by the way, okay, I'm just gonna let you guys know my nails have gone through it this whole last week that I've been filming this video. Do not write it in the comments. I know they are a hot mess right now, and I'm sorry that you have to stare at it for like 10 minutes. So thank you for putting up with my ugly nails. Okay, so we're gonna start off with this ruched mini slit dress. This one was too easy and too simple not to recreate, plus this dress inspo was like $45 to $53. Mine was only 16, so I just had to do it. Also guys, sorry for my voice, it's gone. I lost it somehow. She's nowhere to be found. I went to Vegas and got a little crazy, so you're just gonna have to bear with this kind of raspy voice throughout the whole video. All you're gonna do is start by turning your dress inside out, and where you want your slit to be, you're just gonna make a nice cute little marking just like this. You want to make it slightly long because it is going to be ruched, and then from there all you have to do is make a rectangle with some matching fabric that fits the slit and then redraw that same slit onto that rectangle. Go ahead and match up those slits together, and then on that marking you're going to stitch down that whole marking. I'm just using pins to hold it in place, but that's pretty much optional. It's kind of just like a guideline for me too. So once you're done sewing that stitch down, you're going to make a border, something kind of like an open rectangle around that stitch, and it should look exactly like my example here. Go ahead and pin around the border, and you're going to sew a straight stitch onto that border. So once you're done stitching and making your seams, it should look something like this. And after that, just get some matching string or some ties, and you're going to thread that through this tunnel. So if you guys have watched a lot of my tutorials, you guys know what's next. You're going to thread your string through the tunnel. So I like to pin one end to the opening just so it doesn't get lost, and then I add a safety pin to the other end of the string, and then you're going to use the safety pin to thread it all the way through. For this specific tutorial, you really want to use a small safety pin because the safety pin acts as a head for the string. So around the very top where that corner bend is, it's going to be really tight. So if you use a big safety pin, it's going to be pretty hard to get through. So definitely suggest using a smaller one, and you're just going to keep threading and pulling until you see the safety pin come out of the other side of the tunnel. And once it's out, just pull the strings until you have a ruched slit to your liking. And this is the final finished look of the dress. I love it so much, and I love how easy it was to make this. It's such an easy alteration to a basic dress. You could also use it for a skirt or a top or literally anything. I also wish I did this in another color besides black, because I sure do not need another black mini dress, let me just tell you. This is the before. Oh my gosh, so basic and boring. And this is the after. Oh, it looks so good. This ruched slit just adds so much. It's so crazy. So for the next tutorial, I got the good old utility coveralls. Not really a trend for everyone, but I sure as heck really like it. I've seen some between $50 to $100, and I saw one that goes all the way up to $140. Like, girl, no thank you, I will pass. Mine was only $32, and it's not that much cheaper, but a lot of the cheaper coveralls are all sold out, so I think this is pretty worth it. First thing is to cut the leg length, because I'm making mine into shorts. I don't need all this fabric, you know, just flopping around, so I'm gonna cut it off. Fold your coveralls in half and copy the length onto the other leg. I actually cut longer than I needed because I'm gonna roll and cuff the ends of my legs. The crotch part is also pretty long because it's mainly made for men with dangalangs. So the way that I fixed that was I turned it inside out, and then I pinned along the crotch seam just to flatten out the materials, and I drew a line 1 inch up from the edge. That way I have an idea where to sew my new seam. Now you want to sew a new stitch where that line is with a straight stitch and then cut off any excess seam allowance. Okay, so for the leg opening, all I'm doing right now is folding up the edge and pinning it, and then I'm gonna sew a straight stitch along it so it holds and so it won't fray. You guys could honestly leave it as is from here and leave it hemmed like this, or you guys could do a rolled cuff like I'm doing here. It's a little confusing, so just bear with me. So what I did first was fold the hemmed edge inside of the leg, and then I added another fold the opposite way, 1 inch up. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I hope it did. I just did this because there's a white inside stitch that I really didn't want to show, so I just folded it this way, but it's totally up to you guys. And to hold that in place, I just added small little stitches on the sides and in the front and the back of the cuff. Just hold it in place. I love tight waistbands, like tight enough to where I could suffocate. Like, I'm totally kidding, but like I really like tight waistbands around my waist. So I wanted to replace the elastic because I just felt like it wasn't tight enough, and all I did to fix that was I cut a slit inside where the waistband was hiding, and then I took a piece of 1 inch wide elastic that fits my waist, and then just like the other tutorial right before this, I pinned one end to the opening, and then I added a safety pin to the other end of the elastic, and then I used the safety pin to thread the elastic all the way through to the other end, just like before. Just keep threading that elastic through that tunnel until you see the little safety pin's head pop its way out of the hole and say, yeah, I don't know what the safety pin's head would say, but anyways, not gonna lie, this is a little tough because the overall is pretty thick, so just don't give up. But yeah, once the elastic is all the way out, just fold the ends over and then add a stitch to the end to hold it in place with the coverall, and that's honestly pretty much it. This is the final look of the coverall. It might be a little baggy for some people, but I actually really like it. Sometimes I don't want to be wearing skin tight everything all the time, you know what I mean? I also look like I'm about to work on someone's car, but it's okay because I look cute doing so if I was, right?
Came through dripping Aquafina, I'm 715, kept a weapon on me. Flow make digits, I'm on my business, stack chicken like what it's gon' be. Crew in the cut, hey, you want us, red run when I tell a peace. Love is love. Love is love. Adios.
So the next tutorial that we have is this pink two-piece set. I saw this on Tumblr and I really want to recreate it. However, it's pretty simple, so I feel like you could probably even find it on Amazon, but I'm gonna make it anyways. And I made this all by just one wife beater. And all I did to make this two-piece set was I cut it in half first, and in order to make a straight line, I actually folded up the bottom edge as a cutting guide, but I didn't even cut in a straight line. After doing that, you can see I'm slightly cutting towards the left side, so please don't be like me, just cut in a straight line. I am such trash. But anyways, after that, I just pinned a 1/4 inch size elastic along the very edge, and make sure you're pinning this on the right side, so the outside of the tank top. You really only need to hold the elastic and the wife beater together, so I just use a zigzag stitch just to hold them in place. As you guys can see here, I'm not even using the pins as I'm sewing, so the pins are totally optional. I just want to show you guys what it would look like if they were pinned together. So once that is done, you're gonna fold the elastic under so that now it's on the inside of the tank top, and then you're gonna sew a new zigzag hem exactly the way you just did right before this, but this time on the outside of the tank top. After that, repeat the same exact process to the top edge of the skirt, and honestly, that is pretty much it. You're fully done with this two-piece set. Please don't mind the bunchiness in my skirt. It was the underwear that I decided to use that day. It had a bow in the front. Don't know why I didn't change it out, so don't really mind it. I'm so sorry. Anyways, I don't have a before shot because it's just a tank top, but here's the inspo from where I got this two-piece set from. Not really sure how much it was because I found it on Tumblr, but my two-piece set was $10. So this is the Ruched Mesh top. This one was way too easy that I also could not include it into the video. If I didn't include it, that would be kind of dumb of me. So we've got 2 easy ways to do this. If your mesh is pretty sheer, then you want to go with method 1. You want to start with a large rectangle of fabric, and if you're a size extra small like me, these are the dimensions that I use. You want to fold the fabric in thirds. That way you could have double layers of fabric without having any raw edges on the top and on the bottom. Carefully flip this folded piece over over so that the opening is towards the back, and then you're going to fold it in half and sew a straight stitch down the side. Go ahead and cut off any excess seam allowance, and next you're going to sew a stitch down that same exact seam, but this time you're going to do some ruching and some gathering to make that ruching effect. No need to pin this because all you're going to do is as you're sewing it, just push the fabric towards the needle and it will naturally just gather and ruche itself. If your mesh is pretty thick, you probably don't even need to double layer it. So if that's the case, definitely use method number 2, which is you basically just skip the first step with folding into thirds and go straight into folding it in half horizontally and sewing that straight stitch down that one side. From there, you're going to follow the same stitching steps as the first method by sewing the sides together first and then ruching, and that's pretty much it, and it should look something like this. I actually got no good shots in the black mesh top because I only had band-aids and you could see pretty much everything. So if that's your type of style, then you could probably wear decorative pasties, but if not, definitely wear a nude bandeau under this, just like I did with the white mesh top. I am very much aware that I kind of look like a mummy. Oh my gosh, the last tutorial. I am so excited we finally made it. I don't know what I was thinking trying to fit 5 tutorials in one video, but we're here. We made it. We made it to the peasant crop top. I've been trying to find one that I liked for such a long time. This Revolve one was like $118 and I was like, I'm good fam, like that's too much for me. So I decided to DIY one from Amazon, and obviously you guys could tell it's like the most non-flattering top in the world and it is way too big and way too puffy. To fix that, the first thing that I did was flip the shirt inside out, and then I cut 1 inch off the center back. Then all along the back side, I sewed both of the 2 raw edges together with a straight stitch. This is totally optional, but I also sewed a zigzag stitch on the raw edges just to keep them from fraying. The boob area was a major problem for me because you know your girl got small boobs, so I had to fix that ASAP, and the way that I did was I brought up the middle part, like literally all the way half up into the boob area part. This made it perfect for my small boobs, and I also liked it because it also brought down the neckline. Keep in mind, I actually only did this for the front part. I left the whole back side alone. As you guys can see, I'm only folding up until I get to the side seam, and then I kind of taper it once I get to the back. But yeah, just go ahead and pin all the way around the front and then sew a straight stitch along the edge, and make sure you're sewing the straight stitch really close to the edge where you're pinning. Okay, so turning it into a crop top, I approximately cut 2 inches right below the boob area. You guys could cut however long you want. I only cut 2 inches because I like them to be super cropped. Also, you want to make sure that the zipper pull is all the way to the top. That way you guys don't accidentally cut it off. I cut slits first just to make sure I'm cutting evenly all around the top, and then from there I just used a rolled hem to finish the bottom. I also decided to add a little bow in the front just to make it cute and adorable. And the way that I did that was I actually used the original hem from the part that I cut off at the bottom, and I just sewed it to the center front, tied it into a bow, and there you go. That is my peasant crop top. I've mentioned this probably so many times before, but this is probably one of my favorite DIYs. Literally, after I made this, I wore it 4 days in a row, and I've been wearing it like every single day ever since. I am not sick of it yet, and I'm so excited and so happy with how this turned out, because look, oh my god, this original top is just not cute at all. That is all the Instagram trends I have for this video. There are a lot of DIY trends that I want to show you guys, but unfortunately I can't fit like 20 trends in one video, so definitely keep a lookout for these videos. I'm probably going to do it quite often. With that being said, if you guys want to connect with me on social media, all my socials are at the Nava Rose. I love you guys all so very much, and I will see you guys in my next video.
Been a little too nice to y'all. Now I gotta up price on y'all. Snake eyes on dice for y'all. Shoulders on ice for y'all. Frozen. A6 all the hate. I won't get involved today. Got lost in the